For 7 years, my son walked into the bank every Monday and brushed me off with, "It's just work." After his business trip accident, the bank sent me the safe deposit box he had left behind. The moment I opened it, what I saw inside made my hands tremble. Before we continue, we ask you to hit the hype button, subscribe, and like the video to help the channel grow. Tell us which city you are from in the comments. We would like to get to know our audience better. Funny thing about spending 40 years counting other people's inventory, you get real good at spotting when the numbers don't add up. What I didn't expect was finding out my own son had been counting me as stock too. Something to be moved, boxed, written off when convenient. The warehouse smells like cardboard and diesel, always has. I've been breathing it in for so long I barely notice anymore. Tuesday night, 11 p.m., and I'm checking manifests against what's actually on the pallets because the day shift can't be bothered to count past 20. Numbers don't lie. People do. That's what I tell the new guys when they start, right before they realize this job isn't temporary and quit. My phone buzzes. Linda. We've been divorced 8 years, but she still calls when something's actually wrong. Tait, it's Rory. My chest tightens. What happened? Accident. He was driving back from some business trip. Went off Route 32. They've got him at Mercy General. He's stable, but you need to come. I drop the clipboard. My supervisor, Frank, waves me off when I explain. Go, Haskin. Family first. Family first. Right. The hospital corridor is too bright. Smells like chemicals trying to hide something worse. Linda's already there, sitting in one of those plastic chairs that make your back hurt just looking at them. She stands when she sees me. Intensive care, 3rd floor. He's unconscious but breathing on his own. Kelsey's up there. Kelsey, my daughter-in-law, the woman who smiles at me like I'm a stain on her expensive couch. We take the elevator. Linda fills me in. Head injury, broken leg, something about his car flipping twice. I'm trying to process it all, but my mind keeps circling back to Monday morning, yesterday. Rory stopped by my place like he does every week, took some papers I needed to sign, said, "Dad, it's just work, don't worry." Then he was gone. Coffee half finished on my kitchen table. Kelsey's in the ICU waiting room, phone pressed to her ear. She's wearing business casual, heels that click when she paces. When she sees us, she ends the call fast. They say he'll wake up in a day or two. No permanent brain issues, they think. She sounds more annoyed than relieved. This is terrible timing. He had 3 closings this week. He almost lost his life, Linda says, sharp. I know that. Kelsey's jaw tightens. I'm just saying, this affects a lot of people. I look through the ICU window. My son's lying there, tubes and monitors, his face swollen, 36 years old. Used to fit in my hand when he was born. Now he's a banker, wears ties that cost more than my weekly paycheck, drives a car I can't pronounce the name of. I'm proud of him. I've always been proud. Kelsey's phone keeps lighting up. She keeps tilting it away, but I catch fragments. Messages about closing this before the old man finds out. And collateral, and someone named Ward who doesn't wait. Who's Ward? I ask. She looks up, startled. What? Your messages. Someone named Ward. My father. He's concerned about Rory. She turns away. I need to make some calls. You two should go home. Nothing's happening tonight. Linda and I drive back separately. She follows me to my place, a small 2-bedroom house I bought 30 years ago and paid off 15 years back. It's nothing fancy, needs paint, the porch sags on one side, but it's mine, was mine. Something's off, Linda says, sitting at my kitchen table. Did you see how she was acting? She's stressed. Her husband's in the hospital. No, Tait, she's scared, and not about Rory getting better. Linda drums her fingers on the table, the way she used to when she was working through a problem. What papers did Rory take yesterday? I think back. Bank stuff. He said something about updating my beneficiary forms, making sure everything was current. He does that sometimes, helps me keep my accounts organized. And you just sign? He's my son. He works at the bank. Why wouldn't I trust him? Linda doesn't answer, but her look says enough. After she leaves, I can't sleep. I keep replaying Kelsey's messages in my head, the way she angled her phone away. At 2 a.m., I'm sitting in my kitchen with instant coffee, listening to the refrigerator hum. That's when I notice the envelope on my counter, half buried under junk mail. Official looking. Return address, Lakeview First Bank. Safe deposit services. I open it. Dear Mr. Haskin, this letter serves to remind you of your co-ownership status regarding Safe Deposit Box 447. In light of recent circumstances affecting the primary authorized user, you now have full access rights to conduct any necessary family business. Please contact our main branch to schedule an appointment. Co-ownership. Safe deposit box. I read it 3 times. I didn't know I co-owned anything at the bank except my checking account. Wednesday morning, I call in sick to the warehouse. First time in 2 years. Then I drive to Lakeview First Bank, a modern building with too much glass and a lobby that echoes when you walk. The receptionist gets me Colin Price, the branch manager. He's maybe 50, gray at the temples, suit that probably cost what I make in a month. His handshake is firm, but his smile doesn't reach his eyes. Mr. Haskin, I'm so sorry about Rory. How's he doing? Still unconscious. They're hopeful. Good, good. He gestures toward his office. I assume you're here about the safe deposit box? I didn't know I had one. You're listed as co-owner, actually. It was established about 8 years ago during your knee surgery. Rory set it up for important family documents in case anything happened to either of you. Perfectly standard. 8 years ago, right after the divorce. I was on painkillers, barely remember signing anything. Can I access it? Of course. That's why we sent the letter. With Rory incapacitated, you have full rights. He leads me through a heavy door into a quiet room lined with metal boxes. Take your time. Just ring the bell when you're finished. He hands me a key and leaves. Box 447 is small, middle row. My hand shakes putting the key in the lock. I've opened 10,000 boxes in my warehouse career, shipping containers, storage units, pallets wrapped in plastic. This is just another box, except it's not. Inside, there are folders, a dozen at least, organized with labeled tabs. The first one says POA 2017, Power of Attorney, my name at the top. Rory's name designated as my attorney in fact, giving him authority over my finances, property decisions, medical choices. I remember signing it, vaguely. Before my knee surgery, Rory said it was just in case something went wrong, someone needed to pay my bills while I recovered. That was 8 years ago. I was 59, healthy except for the knee. The second folder, Harborline Square Development, loan documents. I pull out the papers, legal size, dense text, but I know how to read contracts. You don't work inventory without understanding terms and conditions. My warehouse brain kicks in, scanning for keywords. Borrower, Harborline Square LLC. Guarantor, Rory Haskin. Collateral, multiple properties listed. One of them is my address, my house, my paid-off, mortgage-free house that I worked overtime for 25 years to own. I flip through more pages. Loan amount, $2.3 million purpose, mixed-use development project. Start date, 14 months ago. There's a personal guarantee section, my signature. I don't remember signing this. I don't even remember hearing about this project. The third folder is worse. Printed screenshots of text messages. Between Rory and Kelsey. Dates ranging back 2 years. Kelsey, your dad's still asking questions about the second mortgage notice? Rory, told him it was a mistake. He bought it. Kelsey, we need that equity unlocked before Ward loses patience. Rory, I know. Working on it. Another exchange 6 months ago. Kelsey, maybe it's time to look at assisted living options. He's not getting younger. Rory, he's only 67. Too early. Kelsey, make it not too early. Push the memory angle. Forgets appointments, leaves the stove on, whatever. Rory, that feels wrong. Kelsey, does losing the house feel right? Because that's where we're headed if this project stalls. I have to put the folder down. My hands aren't shaking anymore. They're fists. The fourth folder. Care Plan. Tait Haskin. It's formatted like an official document from a social services agency. Except it's not. It's typed on plain paper, no letterhead, and the language is careful. Clinical. Subject exhibits increasing confusion regarding financial matters. Recommended evaluation for memory care facility. Subject has expressed difficulty managing household tasks and has shown poor judgment in recent decision-making scenarios. None of this is true. I've never forgotten an appointment. I've never left the stove on. My last doctor visit 3 months ago, the nurse said my cognition was sharp as a tack for my age. This document is dated to make it look like it was written by a professional, but I can see the metadata in the footer. Created by R. Haskin, modified by K. Ward Haskin. They wrote a fake evaluation of me, planning to use it to put me somewhere. The last folder is labeled simply, If he starts asking questions. I open it. It's a step-by-step instruction sheet, from Kelsey to Rory. Step 1. Redirect to health concerns, suggest he's tired, confused, should see his doctor. Step 2, remind him of the POA. Emphasize that we're handling everything so he doesn't have to worry. Step 3, if persistent, introduce memory care language gently. Dad, we've been worried about you. The doctor mentioned some concerns. Step 4, move timeline up if necessary. Ward can't wait past Q2. I sit in that cold room, metal boxes all around me, and I feel something I haven't felt in 40 years of warehouse work. Rage. Not the hot kind that makes you yell, the cold kind. The kind that makes you count. Organize, plan. I put everything back in the box except the instruction sheet. That one I fold and put in my jacket pocket. Then I lock the box, walk out, thank Colin Price, and drive home. Linda's car is in my driveway. She's sitting on the porch with 2 coffees. You look like you've seen a ghost, she says. Worse, I've seen the inventory. I show her everything. We spread the documents across my kitchen table. She reads in silence, her face going from confused to horrified to furious. That little coward, she whispers. Our son did this. Your son, I correct. I'm just the warehouse. Stop it. No, that's what I am to him. Inventory, something to leverage. Linda picks up the fake care plan. This is fraud, Tait. You could take this to the police? I could. But police take time. Reports, investigations, maybe nothing happens. Maybe Rory says I'm confused, points to the POA, and they believe the banker in the suit over the warehouse worker in steel toes. Then what? I look at her. For 30 years I've counted boxes for other people. I think it's time I start counting what my son owes me, one by one. Thursday morning. Rory is still in the hospital, still unconscious, still suspended in that strange space between danger and recovery. Kelsey has already posted one of her carefully curated moments on social media, staying strong during difficult times, paired with a perfectly angled photo of her holding Rory's hand. The shot is composed less around him and more around her new manicure, like even crisis is a chance to advertise. Meanwhile, I'm sitting in a downtown law office that smells faintly of old books, overworked printers, and burnt coffee left too long on a warmer. The place feels serious, but worn in, like it has witnessed decades of other people's problems being sorted, dissolved, or detonated. Across the polished oak desk sits Martin Weeks. He looks younger than me, maybe late 30s, but his eyes are steady and kind, a man who's had enough clients unravel in front of him that nothing rattles him anymore. Vince, my coworker, insisted I talk to Martin after his brother went through some ugly estate business last year. Mr. Haskin, Martin says, flipping through the stack of documents I brought, I've reviewed everything, and this is concerning. That's one word for it, I say, leaning back in the stiff leather chair. Legally valid power of attorney, he continues, tapping the papers with a pen, but the way it's being used, pledging your property without your informed consent, that's potentially actionable. The fabricated care assessment is fraud, and these text messages, he holds up my phone. They show intent to manipulate, possibly coercion. He sits back, studying me. You have a strong case for elder financial abuse. I don't want a case. My voice surprises even me. Quiet but edged. I want my life back, and I want him to pay for what he tried to do. Martin nods, understanding more in those 2 sentences than I expected. Then we move quickly and strategically. First step, revoke the power of attorney. I can file that today. Second, protect your assets. I recommend transferring your liquid funds to a secure account at a separate institution and establishing a simple revocable trust for your house. You can designate your ex-wife as co-trustee so you retain control. How soon can all that happen? I ask. Revocation is immediate, he says. The trust will take about a week. Do it. And we do. 2 full hours disappear under the rhythm of explanations, signatures, and the sliding of documents across the desk. Martin is thorough, but my warehouse-trained mind breaks everything down into straightforward logistics. By the end of today, Rory loses access to my accounts. In a week, my house will no longer be something he can leverage, borrow against, or gamble with. Every structure he built around my ignorance collapses the moment these papers are filed. Just as we finish, Martin adds, one more thing. If you want to protect yourself completely, start documenting everything. Keep a written log, save every message, and, if Ohio law allows it, record conversations when necessary. It does, I say. One-party consent. His eyebrows rise. You've already looked into this? I look into everything, I reply. It's how you avoid inventory shrinkage. A small smile touches his face. Your son underestimated you, Mr. Haskin. Yeah, I say quietly. He did. I leave the office feeling lighter, almost buoyant. Not because things are fixed, far from it, but because for the first time in weeks, the machinery of my life is turning in my favor. The paperwork is moving, now I just need to make sure no one tries to jam a wrench into it. As I reach my truck, my phone rings. Kelsey. Tait, she says breathlessly. Rory's awake. He's asking for you. I'll be there in 20 minutes. But first, I stop home. I grab the small digital recorder Vince loaned me, clip it inside my jacket pocket, and take a slow breath. If Kelsey and Rory want to keep playing games, there will be a record this time. Mercy General is quieter than usual when I arrive, the kind of lull that makes every footstep echo. Rory looks better than he did yesterday, still pale, bandaged, exhausted, but at least he's conscious. His eyes lift when I walk in. "Hey, Dad," he murmurs. "Hey, kid, you scared us." Scared myself. His voice is rough. Doctor says I got lucky. Could have been a lot worse. Kelsey stands near the window with her arms crossed, spine rigid, gaze sharp. She watches me like I'm a warehouse worker treading across her spotless carpet. "How's everything at home?" Rory asks. "Fine, quiet." He nods, relieved. "Good. Listen, I know this is terrible timing, but there's some paperwork that needs attention while I'm stuck here. Kelsey can bring it by, and you just need to sign—" "Actually," I say, sitting down, "I've been meaning to talk to you about that." His expression stutters for a second. "About what?" "The paperwork. All of it. Over the years, I've signed a lot of documents, and it occurred to me I barely understand half of what I agreed to, so I talked to a lawyer." The air changes, sharply, like someone opened a freezer door. "A lawyer?" Kelsey steps forward. "Why would you need a lawyer?" "To understand what I've been signing," I say calmly. "Turns out I co-own a safe deposit box. Did you know that, Rory?" He tries to smile, but it lands wrong. "Yeah, we set that up ages ago, for important family documents." "Right, family documents." I nod. "Like loan papers for something called Harborline Square." Silence ripples through the room. "Dad." "And power of attorney forms," I continue, and a care plan describing me as confused and forgetful. Rory's heart monitor begins to beep a little faster. "What were you doing in the box?" "The bank sent me a letter," I say. Said I had full access, so I looked. Kelsey's already typing, fingers flying across her phone, probably messaging her father. Damage control. "Dad, listen," Rory pleads. "You're misunderstanding." "Am I?" I ask. "Then explain the text messages, the ones where your wife talks about putting me in assisted living, and you talk about me like I'm some kind of collateral." "Get out," Kelsey snaps. "He just woke up from a serious accident and you're attacking him with paranoid accusations." "I'm not paranoid." My voice is level, controlled. "I have the documents, the screenshots, the fake care plan you two wrote." Rory closes his eyes as though the room is spinning. "Dad, please, not now." "When then?" I ask softly. "After you've moved me into a facility? After you've sold my house to cover your business deal?" The monitor spikes again, loud enough for a nurse to enter. She looks at the numbers, then at us. "Everyone needs to leave. Now." I turn to go. Kelsey follows me out into the hallway, heels cracking sharply against the tile. "You senile old man," she spits. "You have no idea what you're interfering with." I stop and turn to her, meeting her gaze directly. "I'm not senile," I say. "I'm not confused. And I'm not collateral. Tell your father the deal's off. My house is not on the table anymore." "You can't do that," she snaps. "You signed—" "I revoked it," I say. "All of it. And if you or Rory or your father try to contest that, I'll make sure every document in that box finds its way to the police, the bank's compliance department, and anyone else who ought to see it." Then I walk away, calm and steady. Behind me, I hear her voice breaking into panic on the phone. "Daddy, we have a problem." Good. Friday afternoon, I'm back at work, pretending the normal rhythm of the warehouse can swallow everything that's happened. Forklifts beep, pallets slam, someone drops a box of fittings, and curses loud enough to echo off the rafters. Ordinary noise, ordinary chaos. But I'm not in it. I'm just standing in the loading bay, leaning against a forklift like it's the only thing holding me upright. Vince spots me right away. 20 years of friendship means he can read me faster than anyone. He walks over, wiping his hands on a rag, and studies my face the way a mechanic studies an engine before deciding if it's worth opening the hood. "You look like you haven't slept," he says. "I haven't." "The thing with your son?" "Yeah." He doesn't push. Vince never pushes. It's why we've lasted this long without driving each other crazy. He just hands me a cold water bottle and waits, the loading bay noise washing around us like background static. After a long moment, I finally say it aloud. He tried to steal my house. Vince's eyebrows jump. The banker. My son, the banker. He lets out a slow, low whistle. What are you going to do? Already did it, I say. Revoked his access to everything, got a lawyer, protected my assets. That's good, he says carefully. But it's not enough. He angles his head. What do you mean? I look at him fully, the weight of it landing between us. I mean, he's going to lose his job, his reputation, maybe even his marriage, and I'm going to make sure it happens. Tait, he counted on me being too stupid or too trusting to check. He used me like I was damaged goods he could write off. I'm just correcting the inventory, Vince, putting things back where they belong. Vince doesn't flinch. He just studies me for a long stretch of quiet. He knows the difference between anger and intention. He's seeing intention now. You need help? He asks. Maybe. I shrug. I'll let you know. That night, Linda comes over with takeout. She places the bags on the table like she's afraid something fragile inside might break. We eat in silence for a few minutes, the clink of plastic cutlery the only sound. Finally, she says, I talked to Rory today. And? I ask without looking up. He tried to explain. Her voice is thin. He said the Harbor Line deal was supposed to be safe, that he only used your house as backup collateral, that he never meant for it to actually be at risk. But he did risk it, I say. And he lied about it. For months. I know. She pushes rice around her container. He also said you've ruined everything, that the project's falling apart now, that Kelsey's father is furious, that you've destroyed his career. Good. Tait. She sets her fork down. Come on. What? You want me to feel sorry for him? He wrote a fake document saying I'm losing my mind, Linda. He planned to tuck me away somewhere so he could help himself to everything I built. She winces, tears gathering in her eyes. He's still our son. I shake my head. No, he's your son. I'm just his inventory. Don't say that. Her voice cracks, but I don't regret it. I can't. Because pretending won't undo what he did. Pretending won't erase the moment he chose profit over family. Saturday morning, my phone rings. Unknown number. I debate letting it go to voicemail, but something in my gut tells me to answer. I tap accept. Mr. Haskin? A deep voice says. Yeah. This is Greg Ward, Kelsey's father. Of course it is. The king behind the princess. I should hang up. Instead, I let the digital recorder in my pocket capture every word. What do you want? I ask. I want to talk, man to man, about this misunderstanding with Rory. There's no misunderstanding. I think there is, he says smoothly. See, we're all depending on Harbor Line closing on schedule. A lot of people have invested time and money, your son included. That's not my problem. It becomes your problem, he says, voice tightening, when you're holding up progress because you don't understand how business works. I understand perfectly. You wanted to use my house as a safety net for a risky project. I said no. You already said yes, he snaps. You signed. And now I'm unsigned. If you want to talk further, call my lawyer. And there's a beat of silence, thick, weighted. Then Greg Ward drops the nice act. I don't think you appreciate the situation, old man. People are expecting returns. Delays cost money. Maybe you should reconsider before this gets ugly. Is that a threat? It's advice, he says, from someone who knows how these things work. And then he hangs up. I stare at the phone for a long second. Then I call Martin. I just got threatened by Greg Ward, I say. Did you record it? Martin asks immediately. Every word. Good. Keep documenting. His tone shifts from professional to something close to concerned. And Tait, be careful. Men like Ward don't take no well. That's what I'm counting on, I say, and I mean it. Every syllable. Monday morning. The warehouse parking lot is half empty when I pull in at 6 a.m., the sky still a bruised shade of blue from the night before. I've always liked this time of day, the quiet before the machinery wakes up. In another hour, the whole place will turn into its usual orchestra of chaos, trucks rumbling in, pallets clattering, people yelling about scheduling mistakes and overdue shipments. But right now, the building feels like it's holding its breath. Inside, the fluorescent lights flicker overhead as I go through the first load orders of the day. It's mechanical work, reading, checking, initialing, but it helps me feel grounded, stable, something my life hasn't been for weeks. I'm halfway through a shipment manifest when my supervisor, Harris, approaches, clipboard tucked under his arm. Haskin, he says, jerking a thumb toward the front doors. Someone's looking for you, out front. My stomach tightens. Not fear exactly, but expectation. I already know who it is before I even turn around. At the entrance, Greg Ward is leaning against a black pickup truck like he owns the concrete beneath him. His arms are crossed and his posture screams confidence, the kind that comes from decades of getting his way. Beside him stands another man, bigger, heavier, the kind of guy who looks hired rather than invited. I feel the small recorder in my jacket automatically switch from background hum to active witness. Mr. Ward, I say. He straightens. We need to talk. I told you to call my lawyer. I don't want to talk to your lawyer. He pushes off the truck and steps closer, smile polished, voice firm. I want to talk to you. You're making this harder than it needs to be. I'm protecting my property. Your property, he says, as if the word annoys him, is part of a larger deal. You pull out, the whole thing falls apart. Banks get nervous, investors get nervous, people lose money. Not my problem, I say. The bigger man steps forward, just enough to draw attention to his size. Maybe you didn't hear him right. I heard him perfectly. Greg lifts a hand, motioning his associate back. Then he turns to me with a smile that doesn't touch his eyes. Look, I get it. You're scared. Old guy, big numbers, complicated stuff. You don't understand the moving parts. That's fine. Let the professionals handle it. The professionals, I say? Who needed my house to make their numbers work? Collateral is standard procedure. Without my knowledge or consent? Greg's jaw ticks. Your son had power of attorney. Had, I say. Past tense. The smile drops completely, replaced by something colder. You're making a big mistake. We're all depending on Rory hitting his numbers. Don't spook the bank. The bank can do their own due diligence, I say. They already did. Greg's voice hardens. Everything's approved. Approved based on paperwork my son processed, I say. I wonder what they'll think when they review it again. That lands. Greg steps closer, lowering his voice to a slow burn. Listen to me carefully, old man. This project is happening, with or without your cooperation. If you keep interfering, you're going to find yourself in a very uncomfortable position. Is that another threat? It's reality, he says. I turn to head back inside. Greg snaps out a hand and grabs my arm. His fingers clamp down, hard, the way someone might grip a wrench they don't intend to let go. He pulls me around and slams me back against the brick wall behind us. Pain spikes through my shoulder. We're not done talking, he says through gritted teeth. You think you're smart? You think you can just walk away from a signed deal? I've got lawyers who'll tie you up so long. A truck horn blares. The roar of a forklift engine approaches. Vince rolls into view, the reverse beeper piercing the air. He hops off with the confidence of someone who's been driving heavy machinery for half his life. Problem here, Tait? He calls out, voice cool but loaded. Greg releases me, smoothing the front of his jacket like he just finished a business handshake. No problem, he says. Just a conversation. Looked like more than a conversation. Vince walks toward us, compact but built like a reinforced cinder block. Maybe you should have your conversation somewhere else. Greg's hired muscle takes a step forward. Instantly, Vince shifts his weight, ready. I move between them before things escalate. It's fine, I say. They're leaving. Greg points a stiff finger at me. This isn't over. You're going to regret making this difficult. I already regret having a son who works with people like you. His eyes narrow. Then he turns sharply, climbs into the truck, and the two of them drive off. Vince stays beside me until the truck is gone completely. You okay? He asks. Yeah, I say, rolling my sore shoulder. Thanks. That's twice now I've had to pull you out of something. What the hell's going on? I tell him everything. The safe deposit box, the forged care plan, Harborline Square, Greg Ward's pressure, all of it. Vince listens, jaw tightening inch by inch. When I finish, he says, You need to go to the cops. Not yet, I say. I have a better idea. Better than police? Police are slow. I want fast. I want public. What are you planning? He asks. I'm still working on it, I say. But Greg Ward just gave me another piece. I tap my jacket pocket. Threats, intimidation, assault. All on tape. Vince shakes his head. You're playing with fire, Tait. I've been getting burned for years, I say. Time to return the favor. That evening, I sit in Martin's office again, the recorder on the table between us. He listens to everything, the phone calls, the parking lot confrontation, Greg Ward's grip, and threats. When the recordings end, he exhales slowly. This is serious, Tait. Ward could face charges for this. Will he? I ask. Martin hesitates. Probably not. He didn't directly threaten harm, and the physical contact could be seen as incidental, but it definitely supports a pattern of intimidation and manipulation. What about the bank? I ask. Can I file a complaint? You can, and you should. Martin scrolls through his laptop. Since Rory processed your documents while working there, the compliance department is obligated to investigate. It's a conflict of interest at minimum. Who handles that? Internal compliance, risk oversight. He finds a name and turns the screen toward me. Here, Monica Hale, Regional Compliance Officer for Lakeview First. I write the name carefully, letter by letter. One more thing, Martin says, pushing a folder toward me. The trust paperwork is finalized. Your house is now legally protected. Rory has no remaining authority over it. What about the existing loan documents, the ones listing my house as collateral? Those are effectively void the moment the collateral is removed from your ownership, Martin says. Greg Ward's financing just became significantly more unstable. A slow, deliberate satisfaction spreads through me. Perfect. Wednesday morning, I dress carefully. My best shirt, the cleanest pair of jeans I own, boots wiped down until they shine. I want to look like a man who deserves to be taken seriously, a man who isn't confused or feeble or whatever fiction Rory and Kelsey thought they could sell. The regional office is leagues different from the brick branch I usually visit. Marble floors, tall ceilings, live plants instead of plastic ones. The kind of art on the walls that probably cost more than my truck. Everything quietly screams money. The receptionist leads me to Monica's office. She's maybe 42, polished but warm, the kind of person who could either soothe you or dismantle you, depending on what the job requires. Coffee? She asks. Yes, thank you. We sit. Her office overlooks downtown, glass towers, traffic humming below, the city moving like an organism she monitors from above. What can I help you with, Mr. Haskin? I place a folder on the desk, copies of every document from the safe deposit box, the POA forms, the fake care plan, Harborline Square's loan paperwork. My son works for Lakeview First, I begin. He's been managing some of my accounts. I recently discovered he's extended his authority beyond what I authorized. Monica takes the folder and begins reading. Her face remains professionally neutral, but I catch it. The slight tightening of her jaw, the way her eyes sharpen as she scans the signatures, dates, and product changes. This is concerning, she says. Walk me through your understanding of these documents. Oh, I do, from start to finish. From the knee surgery 8 years ago, to the letter from the bank, to discovering the safe deposit box contents, to Greg Ward's involvement. Monica listens with the patience of someone accustomed to untying messy knots of financial wrongdoing. She interrupts only to clarify numbers or dates. When I finish, she leans back slightly. Mr. Haskin, I want to clarify my role. I cannot discuss your son's employment status or his internal actions outside of your account, but I can review your accounts and determine whether proper procedures were followed. That's all I'm asking. She types for several minutes. The room hums with the sound of her processing. I see that Rory Haskin is listed as power of attorney on your primary checking and savings accounts. That designation was added 8 years ago. After my knee surgery, I say. He told me it was temporary. POA authorizations do not automatically expire unless an end date is specified. This one wasn't. I've revoked it. I see the revocation processed last Thursday. Good. More typing. I'm also seeing several product enrollments over the past 18 months. Overdraft protection, credit monitoring, account bundling, all of which generated recurring fees. I didn't request any of those. Did Rory discuss them with you? No. She makes another note. This suggests he may have been using his relationship authority to bypass required explanations and disclosures. That's not always illegal, but it's a serious compliance issue if the client wasn't fully informed. I wasn't. She turns to another document from the folder. And this, the Harborline Square loan. Your property is listed as supporting collateral? Was, I correct. I've moved my house into a trust. Smart. That complicates the bank's position if the loan was approved, assuming that collateral remained available. Is that a problem for the bank? It's a problem for whoever approved the loan without verifying collateral stability. She closes the folder. Mr. Haskin, I can't promise any specific outcomes, but I can initiate a formal review of your accounts and any product enrollments Rory processed. If irregularities are found, we will address them internally. How long does that take? Ordinarily a few weeks. But she hesitates. Just enough to make me lean forward. Rory's performance review is scheduled for next week. If concerns arise before that review, they will be incorporated into the evaluation. Performance review? I ask. Yes. Annual audit of his client portfolio, sales practices, compliance adherence. Very thorough. A slow thought forms. So if someone filed a complaint before that review, it would be part of the review, she says. And complaints involving elder accounts or unauthorized enrollments are treated very seriously. We hold each other's gaze. She's telling me what she can't legally say out loud. I'd like to file a formal complaint. I thought you might. She pulls out a form and opens a new document on her screen. Let's document everything properly. The next hour is meticulous, painful, but necessary. We go line by line through every suspicious change, every unexplained fee, every signature I barely remember placing on a page. Monica highlights inconsistencies, flags timelines, cross-references Rory's employee ID with the transactions. When we finish, she sits back. This is thorough, she says carefully, respectfully. I'll need a few days to investigate, but, Mr. Haskin, you have a strong case here. I swallow. What happens to Rory? That depends on the review findings. She folds her hands. Best case for him, remedial training and client restrictions. Worst case? She doesn't say the words. Termination. Black mark on his record. Career-ending consequences. But I hear the silence clearly. Worst case, my son loses everything. Good. Thursday, Rory's released from the hospital. Kelsey posts photos of them leaving, caption about new beginnings and grateful hearts. I don't call, I don't visit. Instead, I drive to the Harbor Line Square construction site. It's on the waterfront, prime location, half-finished structures behind chain-link fence. The sign out front is glossy. Harbor Line Square. Luxury living meets urban convenience. Coming spring 2025. I park across the street, watching. Trucks coming and going, workers climbing scaffolding, the smell of wet concrete. After 20 minutes, I cross to the entrance. A security guard stops me. Site's closed to public. I'm not public, I'm an investor. It's not quite true, but my house was put up as collateral, so close enough. He radios someone. A man in a hard hat approaches. 30s, clipboard, annoyed expression. Can I help you? I'm Tait Haskin. My son Rory's one of your financial partners. Just wanted to see the progress. His expression shifts. Oh, Mr. Haskin. Yeah, Rory mentioned you. Come on, I'll give you the quick tour. We walk through the site. He explains the timeline, the units, the commercial space on the ground floor. I nod along, but I'm not looking at the future condos. I'm looking at the safety violations, scaffolding overloaded with material. No fall protection for workers on the third level. Electrical panels left open and exposed. Exit routes blocked by equipment. Lumber stacks higher than code allows. It's a warehouse inspector's nightmare. Nice operation, I say. We're pushing hard to stay on schedule. Ward's got buyers lined up. Greg Ward? Yeah, the owner. You know him? We've met. The tour ends. I thank him, walk back to my truck, and pull out my phone. I take photos of every violation I saw, close-ups with timestamps. Then I drive to the county building and file an anonymous safety complaint with the construction inspector's office. Friday morning, I'm at the warehouse when my phone rings. Unknown number again. Hello? Mr. Haskin, this is Inspector Davis from County Building Safety. I'm following up on a complaint filed yesterday regarding the Harbor Line Square site. The complaint mentioned your name as a concerned party. I visited the site and saw some things that worried me. Can you describe them? I do, in detail, using the exact code violations I learned from 30 years of warehouse safety training. That's very thorough, Mr. Haskin. We'll conduct an inspection today. If these violations are confirmed, the site will be shut down pending corrections. How long does that take? Depends on severity. Could be days. Could be weeks. And the project financing? Not my department, but most construction loans have milestone clauses. If work stops, funding can freeze. Thank you, Inspector. Thank you for reporting this. Safety violations put lives at risk. I hang up and smile. Saturday afternoon, Linda calls. Rory's been trying to reach you. I know, I'm not answering. Tait, he sounds desperate. Something's happening with his project. Good. What did you do? I filed a safety complaint. The site's been shut down for code violations. Silence. Then, you're really doing this. I'm not doing anything except reporting facts. Or if the site's unsafe, that's on Greg Ward and his crew. Rory says the bank's asking questions, something about an internal review. Monica Hale. Who? Compliance officer. I filed a formal complaint about how Rory handled my accounts. When? Wednesday. Jesus, Tait. What? I'm supposed to let him keep using my name to process shady deals. He's your son. He was my son. Now he's just someone who tried to take everything from me. Linda's quiet for a long time. I don't know if I can support this. I'm not asking you to. I'm just telling you what's happening. He's going to lose his job. He should. His marriage is falling apart. Kelsey's talking about separation. That's between them. Tait, Linda, stop. I know you want to believe he's still the little boy we raised. But that boy's gone. The man who's left. He chose this. He chose to betray me. Now he gets to live with the consequences. She hangs up. I sit in my quiet house, no TV, no music, just the sound of the refrigerator and my own breathing. For the first time in months, I feel calm. Monday morning, my phone rings. Colin Price. Mr. Haskin, I hope I'm not catching you at a bad time. I'm at work. What's up? I wanted to inform you personally, as a courtesy, that Lakeview First Bank is hosting a Community Partners Evening this Thursday. It's an annual event where we recognize our top performers and showcase successful client partnerships. Rory's been selected to receive an award and present the Harborline Square project as a flagship success story. I nearly laugh. That's so? Given recent conversations, I thought you should know. You're welcome to attend. We'll have light refreshments, local business leaders, some city officials. I'll think about it. Please do. It would mean a lot to Rory to have his father there. I hang up. Then I call Martin. The bank's having an awards event Thursday. Rory's presenting Harborline as a success. Interesting timing. Monica Hale's review should be wrapping up around then. Can we use that? What do you mean? I mean, can we make sure the review results come out during the event? In front of everyone? Long pause. That's aggressive, Tait. They're giving my son an award for a project built on my stolen property. I want to correct the record. I'll see what I can do. But Tait, this is going to be nuclear. Once you do this, there's no going back. I crossed that line the moment I opened that safe deposit box. All right, I'll coordinate with Monica's office. Tuesday, I get a voicemail from Kelsey. Her tone is icy. I don't know what you think you're accomplishing, but you're destroying your son's life. The bank's investigating him. The construction site is shut down. Ward's lawyers are circling. Rory can't sleep, can't eat. You want him to suffer? Congratulations. You win. Now back off before you push him over the edge. I save the message. Then I call Vince. You busy Thursday night? Depends. I need you to come to a bank thing with me. Moral support. What kind of bank thing? The kind where I finish what I started. You sure about this? I've never been more sure of anything in my life. Wednesday, I drive to the construction site one more time. The gates locked, yellow tape across the entrance, official notice posted, work suspended pending safety inspection. I take photos. Then I drive to the regional office. Monica Hale meets me in the lobby. Mr. Haskin, I was going to call you today. Did you finish the review? I did. Can we talk in my office? Upstairs, she closes the door and pulls out a thick folder. I've completed a comprehensive audit of your accounts and all products Rory processed on your behalf. I also reviewed his overall client portfolio and sales practices. And I found multiple instances where proper disclosure procedures were bypassed or abbreviated. Several elderly clients have similar patterns. Add-on products they didn't request, fee structures they don't understand, authorization signed without adequate explanation. So he's been doing this to other people too. It appears so. Nothing egregious enough to be criminal, but definitely violations of bank policy and industry best practices. What happens now? That's partly up to you. I've documented everything. The findings will be part of his performance review this week. Depending on severity classification, outcomes range from formal reprimand and client restrictions to termination. What do you recommend? She looks at me carefully. Mr. Haskin, I'm not asking you to decide your son's fate, but I am asking, do you want to pursue this formally? If you do, I'll classify it as a major compliance violation. If you'd rather handle it privately, I can document it as a family dispute outside my jurisdiction. If I handle it privately, does anything change for his other clients? Eventually, but it takes longer. Then pursue it formally. Those other people deserve protection too. She nods. I thought that's what you'd say. The review board meets Thursday afternoon, right before the Community Partners event. Results will be available immediately after. Will they announce them publicly? Not typically, but if someone were to ask direct questions during the event... She trails off meaningfully. I understand. She stands, extends her hand. Mr. Haskin, for what it's worth, you did the right thing. Your son took advantage of your trust. That's not okay, regardless of family ties. I shake her hand. Thank you. Thursday morning, I call in sick again. I shower, shave, put on my best clothes, slacks, and a button-down shirt Linda bought me years ago. I look in the mirror. I look old, tired, but determined. My phone buzzes. Rory. Dad, can we talk before tonight, please? I type back, see you at the event. Vince picks me up at 6 p.m. He's wearing a sport coat that doesn't quite fit, but he tried. We drive to the bank in silence. The parking lot's full. Inside, the lobby's been transformed. Tables with food, flowers, a small stage with microphone, maybe 50 people mingling. City council members, business owners, bank staff in suits. Colin Price spots me, waves. Mr. Haskin, so glad you could make it. I nod, say nothing. Rory's across the room, leaning on a cane, talking to Greg Ward. When he sees me, he goes pale. Kelsey's beside him, whispering urgently in his ear. Linda's here too. She catches my eye, shakes her head slightly. I ignore her. Monica Hale is standing near the back, tablet in hand, watching everything. Colin takes the microphone. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our annual Community Partners celebration. I stop listening. I'm counting, calculating, planning my moment. Colin's speech drones on. Community values, partnership, growth. Then he introduces Rory. My son limps to the stage, cane in one hand, note cards in the other. He looks thinner than last week, circles under his eyes. Part of me, a small stubborn part, feels sorry for him. The rest of me remembers the fake care plan and hardens. Thank you, Colin. I'm honored to be here tonight. Rory's voice is steady, practiced. When I think about what we've accomplished with Harborline Square, I think about vision, about seeing potential where others see risk. He clicks to the first slide. Architectural renderings, gleaming glass, and steel. This project represents $2.3 million in investment, creating 47 new residential units and 8,000 square feet of commercial space. It's a catalyst for waterfront revitalization. Next slide. Construction photos from before the shutdown. Workers, machinery, progress. We've partnered with Ward Construction, leveraging local expertise and strong community relationships. The financing structure includes multiple stakeholders, each bringing unique value. I watch Greg Ward nod approvingly from his seat. But this project isn't just about numbers. Rory's voice softens. It's about legacy, about building something that lasts. My father taught me that. He spent 40 years in inventory management, making sure everything was counted, verified, in its right place. People smile. A few look at me. Dad always said, numbers don't lie, people do. I carried that lesson into my banking career. The irony is so thick I could choke on it. So when I look at Harborline Square, I see more than a development project. I see family values translated into community investment. I see my father's work ethic reflected in every carefully planned detail. He gestures toward me. Dad, thank you for always believing in me. That's my cue. I stand up. The room goes quiet. Rory's smile falters. Actually, Rory, I have a question. Colin shifts nervously. Mr. Haskin, we typically save questions for after. Did I also believe in you putting my house up as collateral? Because I don't remember that line in the speech. You could hear a pin drop. Rory's face drains of color. Dad, this isn't the time. No, I think it's exactly the time. I pull a folder from my jacket. Copies of the key documents. See, I recently discovered some interesting things about Harborline Square, like how my house, which I paid off 25 years ago, suddenly became part of your financing package. I walk toward the stage, handing copies to Colin, to Monica Hale, to a city council member in the front row. That's power of attorney documents giving my son control over my finances. Loan papers listing my property as collateral for a project I never heard about. Text messages between Rory and his wife planning to move me into assisted living to simplify their deal. Kelsey stands up. You're twisting everything. Am I? Here's my favorite part. I pull out the fake care plan. This is a document describing me as confused, forgetful, unsafe to live alone. Except it's not from a doctor. It's not from any medical professional. It was written by my son and daughter-in-law as justification for taking control of my life. Greg Ward lurches to his feet. This is slander. It's documentation. There's a difference. Colin looks at Monica. She steps forward, tablet raised. Mr. Price, I think the board review findings are relevant here. Colin goes pale. Monica, This isn't. I've completed a comprehensive audit of Rory Haskin's client management practices, specifically focusing on Mr. Tait Haskin's accounts. She reads from her tablet, voice professional and cold. I found multiple instances where proper disclosure procedures were not followed, where add-on products were enrolled without clear client consent, and where power of attorney authority was used to process transactions that may not have been in the client's best interest. Rory grabs the podium. That's not... Dad, you don't understand how these things work. I understand you used me. I understand you and Kelsey wrote instructions on how to gaslight me if I started asking questions. I understand you pledged my home to cover your business deal without ever telling me. We were protecting you. From what? From making my own decisions? From keeping my own property? The room's erupting now. Business owners whispering, city officials looking uncomfortable, bank staff conferring in urgent huddles. Monica continues. As a result of these findings, and in consultation with senior management, I'm recommending immediate suspension pending full investigation. All of Mr. Rory Haskin's client files will be reviewed for similar irregularities. Colin looks like he's been punched. Monica, can we discuss this privately? This is a public event celebrating partnership and transparency. I think these findings are relevant to that conversation. Greg Ward pushes through the crowd toward me. You son of a... Vince steps between us. Back off. You destroyed the project. That site shut down, the financing freeze. That was you? That was code violations your crew ignored. I just reported what I saw. Rory promised us your collateral was solid. It's not his to promise. Never was. Greg rounds on Rory. You told me the old man was handled. You said we had everything locked down. Rory's shaking. I thought, Dad, you signed everything. You agreed. I signed what you put in front of me without explaining. That's not agreement. That's manipulation. Kelsey grabs her purse. I'm not staying for this disaster. Rory, when you figure out how to fix this mess, call me. Until then, I'm at my parents'. She storms out, heels clicking. Several business associates follow. The city council member stands. Mr. Price, I think the city needs to reconsider our banking relationship with Lakeview first until this is resolved. Colin's desperately trying to salvage something. Ladies and gentlemen, please, this is a family matter that's gotten out of hand. No. I face the room. This is a case of elder mistreatment that my son thought he could conceal behind family connections and banking procedures. He exploited my trust, my property, and my name to build his career. When I found out, he tried to make me seem incapable so I couldn't defend myself. I turned to Rory, standing there with his cane, his award plaque forgotten on the podium. 7 years, you walked into this bank every Monday and told me, it's just work. This is my Monday now, Rory, and my work here is done. Rory tries to step toward me, loses his balance, grabs for the podium. It tips. He falls, landing hard on the stage floor. The microphone screeches. For a second, nobody moves. Then bank staff rush forward, helping him up. He's crying now, not from pain, but from something deeper. Dad, please, I made mistakes, but I'm still your son. No, you were my son. What you are now is someone who counted me as inventory, and inventory gets audited. Monica's on her phone, probably with senior management. Colin's trying to usher people toward the exits, but they're not leaving. They want to see how this ends. Greg Ward gets in my face one more time. You think you won? I've got lawyers who'll what? Sue me for protecting my own property? File another intimidation complaint to add to the others? I pull out my phone, start the recording I made of our parking lot confrontation. His voice plays clearly. You're going to find yourself in a very uncomfortable position. His face goes red. You recorded me? Ohio's a one-party consent state. I can record any conversation I'm part of, including the one where you grabbed me and shoved me into a wall. A uniformed police officer, someone's guest at the event, steps forward. Sir, is that true? Greg looks between me and the cop. This is harassment. Actually, it's documentation, which is what you do when you want to make sure people understand cause and effect. The cop takes my phone, listens to the recording, takes notes. Greg realizes he's in trouble, starts backpedaling, but it's too late. The cop's calling it in. Linda appears beside me. Her eyes are wet. Tait, what have you done? What I should have done the moment I opened that box. Protected myself. He's destroyed. Good. Maybe he'll learn something. You've lost your son. I lost my son 8 years ago when he decided I was more useful as collateral than family. I look at her. You can stay in his corner if you want, but I'm done pretending. She searches my face, looking for something. Whatever she's looking for, she doesn't find it. She walks away. Monica approaches. Mr. Haskin, I'm sorry it came to this. Don't be. Sometimes inventory correction requires everyone to see what was wrong. For what it's worth, you did the right thing. Colin's trying to end the event, thanking people for coming, apologizing for the disruption. Most people are already leaving, pulling out phones, taking photos. Rory's sitting on the stage floor, cane across his lap, staring into space. Kelsey's gone. His boss is suspending him. The project's over. His marriage is falling apart. Everything he built on my stolen property is crumbling. I should feel something. Guilt, regret, sorrow. I feel satisfied. I turn to Vince. Let's go. We walk through the lobby, past the overturned award plaque, past the barely touched food, past the business cards and promotional materials no one wants anymore. Outside, the parking lot's mostly empty. The night air smells like rain. I take a deep breath. You okay? Vince asks. Yeah, I'm good. That was brutal. It needed to be. We get in his truck. He starts the engine, but doesn't put it in gear. What now? Now I go home. Sleep without nightmares for the first time in months. Wake up tomorrow in a house that's actually mine. Keep working at the warehouse. Live my life. And Rory? Not my problem anymore. Vince pulls out of the parking lot. In the rearview mirror, I see the bank's lights still blazing, people still moving around inside, cleaning up the disaster. My phone buzzes. Text from Martin. Saw the news already spreading online. You did it. Call me tomorrow and we'll make sure everything's locked down legally. Another buzz. Unknown number. This is Inspector Davis. Wanted you to know the Harborline site failed inspection across the board. Projects suspended indefinitely. Ward construction facing fines and possible license review. I smile. Vince drops me at my house. You need anything, you call? I will. Thanks for having my back. Always. I unlock my front door, step inside, turn on the light. My house, my space, mine. The kitchen table's still covered with copies of documents, sticky notes, my inventory logs tracking every lie, every manipulation, every betrayal. I gather them all up, put them in a box. Tomorrow I'll give them to Martin for permanent safekeeping. Tonight, I just want them out of sight. I make coffee, sit in my chair, turn on the TV. Some cop show rerun. I'm not really watching. My phone rings. Rory. I let it go to voicemail. It rings again, again. After the fifth call, I block the number. Linda calls. I let that go to voicemail too. The house is quiet. Just me, the TV, the sound of rain starting outside. For 40 years, I counted other people's inventory. Made sure everything was in its right place, accounted for, properly logged. I was good at it. Reliable, invisible. Tonight, I counted my own inventory. Found everything that was taken. Every lie that was told. Every manipulation that was hidden. And I corrected it. All of it. My son stood in front of 50 people and thanked me for believing in him. Then I stood up and showed everyone exactly what he believed in. My house, my money, my vulnerability. He thought I was too old, too trusting, too simple to understand what he was doing. He was wrong. The award plaque is probably still lying on that stage, Rory's name engraved on it. Outstanding community partnership. Partnership. That's what he called it when he pledged my house without asking. Partnership. I take a sip of coffee, leaning back in my chair. The rain's coming down harder now, drumming on the roof. Good sleeping weather. Tomorrow the bank will conclude their investigation. Monica will submit her report. Rory will likely lose his job. The project will come to an end. Greg Ward will face fines and legal trouble. Kelsey will file for separation. And I'll wake up in my house, drive to my warehouse, count my pallets, and live my life. The one I paid for. The one I earned. The one nobody gets to take from me anymore. My phone vibrates one more time. Text from an unknown number. You destroyed him. I hope you're happy. I delete it without responding. Am I happy? No. Happy would be if none of this ever happened. If my son had been the man I thought he was. But satisfied? Yes, completely. I finished my inventory, corrected every error, protected every asset, and when the smoke clears, I'll still be standing in my house, with my dignity intact and my property secure. Rory used a safe deposit box he thought he controlled to bury me alive under paperwork and lies. He forgot who owned the box. He forgot who taught him that numbers don't lie. He forgot that warehouse workers know how to count. Tonight, he remembered. I turn off the TV, rinse my coffee cup, lock the doors. In my bedroom, I set my alarm for 5 a.m. Work tomorrow. always work tomorrow. But tonight, for the first time in months, I'll sleep sound, because the inventory's balanced, the stock's correct, and the broken goods have been removed from the shelf.